I am heartbroken to hear the news about Bonnie Tyler's passing. Bonnie died in a hospital in Portugal where she was apparently being treated for an illness, according to a statement which was posted on her official social media channel. Bonnie was a force to be reckoned with. One of the most distinct and emotional voices of the last 50 years for sure. She will continue to blow the minds of listeners for the next 500 years with songs that are not only powerhouses of the last century, but standards of their time. You know, songs like Holding Out a Hero, It's a Heartache, and of course the 80s classic Total Eclipse of the Heart. Today I wanted to share a show that we did about 4 or 5 years ago, but this one is the uncut video of the story behind that perfect song. And it truly has been the total eclipse of our hearts. What a loss, truly. Bonnie was just one in a million, one of the great singers. Rest in power, rest in peace, Bonnie. Thank you for the music. So it's time for another edition of our series, The New Standards. We haven't done one of these in a while. This is a show that takes an in-depth look into songs that transcend genre, decade, and fads. Songs that are monumental touchstones in our culture and our society. Previous episodes, we've covered Careless Whisper by George Michael / Wham. Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. And Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. But today, we're breaking down a big-time hit from 1983. A song that not only ruled the charts, but captured souls of audiences everywhere. Talking about the #1 hit, Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler.
A total eclipse of the heart.
This came from her 5th studio album, Faster Than the Speed of Night. Now, Bonnie Tyler was born Gaynor Hopkins in South Wales. She grew up listening to the music of Janis Joplin.
I mean, nothing, honey, if it ain't free.
And Tina Turner. At the age of 17, she answered a newspaper ad for backup singers at a local club and began singing almost daily in Welsh clubs and pubs from then on. From the get-go, Bonnie Tyler had a naturally bluesy and raspy voice.
I was lost in France.
However, her 6-night-a-week regimen as a club singer led to her developing nodules on her vocal cords. So in 1976, she underwent throat surgery. It was a success, but she thought that she might never sing again. After a couple of months, though, of recovery, she started sounding more like Rod Stewart, even raspier.
Nothing but a heartache. Love until you're...
Is that a word, raspier? Tyler's rasp and natural talent soon attracted the attention of writer-producers Ronnie Scott and Steve Wolf. That led to Bonnie's 1977 debut album, The World Starts Tonight. However, it was her sophomore release the following year that would give Bonnie Tyler her first taste of Billboard chart success. The album, Natural Force, featured It's a Heartache.
It's a heartache. Nothing but a heartache.
The single was actually released ahead of the record as the second single in November 1977, and it would go on to number 3 on the Hot 100, all the way to number 3. The single was actually released ahead of the record as the second single in November 1977, and it would go all the way to number 3 on the Hot 100. A lot of people get it mixed up. They think that Kim Carnes sings this. It was Bonnie Tyler. But after that, Bonnie Tyler pretty much vanished from the spotlight after her song dropped off the charts for a while. She said, "I was taking a bit of a nosedive. That's because Heartache was actually more of a headache than anything else. The song with its country leanings was not indicative of the direction that Bonnie Tyler wanted to steer her career at that point. Scott and Wolf were pushing the soft country rock vibe, and in Bonnie Tyler's words, it really cheesed her off. She hadn't even liked recording the song, and now she felt like she was being typecast in the wrong genre entirely. So by the time Bonnie Tyler released her 4th studio album, 1981's Goodbye to the Island, she had had enough. She started to distance herself from her manager and her songwriter-producer's team, and completely discouraged, Bonnie Tyler gave up performing over the final 18 months of her contract.
Why love shoot me this way?
In the meantime, she stayed home listening to rock tapes and planning her next move career-wise. Her plan would involve both changing labels to CBS Records and then searching for a new songwriting partner. Enter the acclaimed Jim Steinman. Steinman, of course, famous for writing and producing Meatloaf's 14 million selling 1977 album Bat Out of Hell. Actually, it sold a lot more than that worldwide. The duo made for a formidable partnership. Steinman, the composer, and of course Meatloaf's larger-than-life voice and persona. Jim Steinman, for his part, wrote all of Meatloaf's biggest hits, including Paradise by the Dashboard Light, 2 Out of 3 Ain't Bad,
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
And later, I Would Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That, parentheses song. We've covered that partnership in detail in our tribute episode of Meatloaf. You can see that if you want to know more about that story. I'll link to it below. Bonnie Tyler, though, was mesmerized by Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell. She loved this album. And when she swapped record companies, her new label, Sony, Columbia back then, she asked her who she'd like to work with. Her reply was, whoever writes for Meatloaf. Bonnie Tyler recognized Steinman as someone who could create the epic sound that she desperately wanted on her next record. Her label, however, was skeptical and, rightly so. He's never going to do it, they told her. Bonnie simply asked, please try. Steinman actually did reject the offer, but only initially, and was persuaded to listen to some of Tyler's demo tapes. And after hearing her sing, he was actually halfway sold on the project. How could you not? It's such a distinct, mesmerizing voice. Later, Steinman would say, I always thought she had a great voice. She actually reminds me of Creedence Clearwater Revival's John Fogerty, probably my favorite male rock and roll singer ever. Her voice isn't pure or smooth. It sounds ravaged, like it's been through a lot. It's what rock and roll is all about. Her voice would be enough to get her foot in the door, but Steinman wasn't completely convinced just yet. According to Bonnie, Jim called, and out of the blue really, and he invited her to meet him at his New York apartment. And this was in April of 1982. They got straight down to business from there. Jim played her CCR's Have You Ever Seen the Rain, and he asked her what her thoughts were.
Have you ever seen the rain?
After that, he played her Going Through the Motions by Blue Oyster Cult.
And we're going through the motions. Yeah, we're going.
And Bonnie didn't know it at the time, but these two songs were actually a test. Steinman would later tell her that if she hadn't liked these songs, the partnership would be over before it even started. He wanted them to be musically in sync, make sure they're on the same page. Fortunately, they were. She loved the tracks, so much so that they would both make it onto her forthcoming album Faster Than the Speed of Night. And then came a 7-minute song about vampire love that would become a smash #1 hit. So weeks after her first meeting, Tyler returned to Steinman's with a view of writing her new record. It was then that she heard, for the first time, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Turn around.
Every now and then I get a little bit lonely.
Steinman had actually been working on Total Eclipse for quite a while. An early version of the song was called Come in the Night, and it was part of a school musical that he had written in 1969. Reportedly, Steinman had composed the song during a lunar eclipse and later changed the name to Vampires in Love. Said Jim Steinman, I actually wrote that to be a vampire love song. Its original title was Vampires in Love because I was working on a musical of Nosferatu, the other great vampire story. If anyone listens to the lyrics, they're really like vampire lines. It's all about the darkness, the power of darkness and love's place in dark. That was what he said. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, Nosferatu is a 1922 silent vampire film adapted from the story of Stoker's Dracula. This connection helps to explain the love and the dark feel that it really engrosses the song. Reading into the lyrics from a vampire perspective, a vampire-inspired perspective, it definitely sheds new light onto its meaning, so to speak. Take, for example, the lyrics, I get a little bit restless and I dream of something wild.
Now and then I get a little bit restless and I dream of something wild.
or Forever's Gonna Start Tonight.
Forever's gonna start tonight. Forever's gonna...
Kind of get the idea. Anyway, the two met at Steinman's apartment, and when Steinman played Tyler the song on his grand piano, accompanied by seasoned backup vocalist Rory Dodd, Bonnie Tyler was completely overwhelmed. She said that it sent shivers up her spine, and that after hearing it, she couldn't wait to record it. She was amazed. She couldn't believe what Jim was offering, this incredible song to her. When it was finished, the album cut of Total Eclipse of the Heart would clock in at just under 7 minutes. And it had everything a song really could need to take that next theatrical level. Phantom of the Opera style organ, sleigh bells, choir accompaniment, and even synthetic cannon fire. Now, Rory Dodd would also feature on this song, of course, singing that pleading, that iconic turnaround Bright Eyes backup vocal, one of the best of the 80s. But for all the song's astonishing scope, it was Bonnie Tyler's voice that stole the show. Steinman was enamored with it. He called Bonnie's voice perfect for what he was trying to get across with the song. He even said that her performance was like an exorcism. And you know what? He was absolutely right. Her performance is hypnotizing. It's heroic. It's straight up otherworldly. Press and play on this one takes you out of wherever you are, and it places you squarely in another realm where it feels like anything's possible. It is cinema for the ears. Now, Bonnie, for her part, said, "I don't like songs that anybody can sing. I like songs that need a lot of energy. It's such a passionate song, and it builds all the time till it finally comes to a real climax. It's incredible." Now, there's an interesting subplot tied to the song, starring Steinman's well-known partner, Meatloaf. So by the early 80s, the duo had taken a break from one another. In 1981, Steinman released a solo album called Bad for Good in 1981, featuring the single Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through, one of my favorites. It actually made it to number 13 on the Hot 100. On the other side of the separation, Meatloaf, who was contractually bound to release a third studio album for Epic, well, he was about to miss out on some of Steinman's best work. Said Meatloaf, "The record company said that I shouldn't have anything to do with Jim Steinman. Nobody wanted to hear his songs anymore. These morons passed on Total Eclipse of the Heart and Making Love Out of Nothing at All, which reached number 1 and number 2 in America the very same week. They couldn't care less about me." Yeah, that's right. When Total Eclipse reached number 1 on the Hot 100, the Jim Steinman penned Air Supply hit Making Love Out of Nothing at All was right behind it in the runner-up position.
Out of nothing at all. I need you now tonight, and I need you more.
He didn't replace himself at number 1, but he had the number 1 and number 2 hits. He really showed the powers that be. Top 2 songs in America at the same time. Very cool. And Meatloaf was stuck on the outside looking in. In theory, these were 2 songs that Meatloaf could have been singing. At least that's what he believed. He claimed that Steinman had written them both for him, but of course, there are always 2 sides to the story. 3, I guess, if you include Bonnie Tyler. Steinman and Tyler have both said that Total Eclipse was never meant for Meatloaf. 2006, Steinman said that he didn't write Total Eclipse of the Heart for anyone but Bonnie Tyler. Tyler has also noted that. Meatloaf was apparently very annoyed that Jim gave that song to me, is what she said. But Jim said he didn't write it for Meatloaf, that he only finished it after meeting me. Seeing how Jim Steinman had been working on it for over a decade before giving it to Tyler, it's not hard to believe that, Meatloaf would have been aware of the song and, might have felt that he deserved a crack at it. But as it is, Bonnie Tyler got the go-ahead, and it's her version that went down in history.
I was falling in love, but now I'm only falling apart.
So the music video, let's talk about that for a second. That had a lot to do with supernatural and surreal as well. Directed by Russell Mulcahy, who had previously collaborated with Fleetwood Mac, Elton John, and Billy Joel. And though it may not seem possible, the video is even more over the top than the song is. Filmed on location of the Holloway Asylum, it was a large Victorian Gothic hospital near Virginia Water, Surrey, England. The music video features Tyler dressed in dreamy white and bathed in shadow, wandering the premises as flowing drapes, blown open doors, swaying light fixtures, and burning candles set the mood.
Every now and then I get a little bit lonely.
Add to that a cast of curious characters that include dancing ninjas, tuxedoed toasters, gymnasts, fencers, leather jacket rockers, a high school swim team, gridiron football players, and a laser-eyed boy choir. You got one hell of a backdrop for one of the most epic showpiece singles ever written or filmed, really.
Every now and then I fall apart.
Total Eclipse of the Heart. That debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 on July 16, 1983, and it stayed on the chart for 29 weeks. 4 of those took number 1. It also topped the Cashbox Top 100 chart, and at its peak, Total Eclipse of the Heart was selling 60,000 copies a day. Internationally, it broke the top 10 almost everywhere, going to number 9 in Spain, 6 in Denmark and Finland, number 3 in Sweden, Switzerland, and France. And it went to number 1 in Canada, the UK, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, South Africa, and also Norway. Now, since its glory days, Total Eclipse of the Heart has gone on to become a fixture in pop culture. It's appeared in a number of movies and TV shows. The list includes Urban Legend, Cold Case, Criminal Minds, Austenland, Futurama,
There's nothing I can do, a total eclipse of the heart.
Lip Sync Battle, Grey's Anatomy,
Say a total eclipse of the heart.
Best Time Ever with Neil Patrick Harris, Glee,
We'll be holding on forever, and we'll only be.
also Better Call Saul, Gloria Bell, Whiskey Cavalier, and NCIS Hawaii. Total Eclipse of the Heart has also been covered numerous times. Tori Amos,
Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, but then I see the.
Better Than Ezra, Jan Arden, Kelly Clarkson,
And I need you more than ever.
Josh Groban, Jill Andrews, One Direction, and Brandi Carlile. And in 1995, Nikki French's dance version of Total Eclipse of the Heart went to number 2 on the Hot 100. Also went to number 5 in the UK, introducing it to a whole new generation. And not surprisingly, Jim Steinman has sang it as well. Total Eclipse of the Heart is this massive ballad that is no doubt Tyler's finest moment. It's a once-in-a-lifetime song. For Bonnie Tyler, that would prove to be both an incredible blessing as well as a tough act to follow. In fact, Tyler never came close again to replicating the success of Total Eclipse of the Heart. She did continue to release singles in the years that followed, including the number 46 Take Me Back that went to number 46 from the same album. She did break into the top 40 with another Steinman collaboration in '84, though. The number 34 Holding Out for a Hero, which was featured on the Footloose soundtrack during the famous tractor scene. It's had massive success since then. In terms of streaming, it's actually had over 500 million streams. She also turned into number 76 Here She Comes single for the Metropolis soundtrack.
Here she comes, here she comes.
And also the number 77 If You Were a Woman and I Was a Man. That was in '86. Those would be her last 2 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, though. In the 90s and 2000s, she would have some more localized success in Europe, particularly in France and Germany and Norway. But nothing ever came close to the impact and widespread success of Total Eclipse of the Heart. You know, looking back, Jim Steinman said of the song, "I never thought I had a prayer as a single, but there's no doubt that Tyler's passionate powerhouse vocal performance carried the day. It made this song an ethereal triumph. It is an incredible song." This is what Bonnie Tyler would say in 2021. "I never get tired of singing it. Every time I sing it, it's like the first time. I never would have dreamed when it was released that it would sell 6 million copies worldwide. And that's just the single, not the album.
Do a total eclipse of the heart.
You know, looking back, I remember as a kid riding with my family on a camping trip. We were headed, we're on the freeway. My parents were flipping through the radio stations, trying to find a good song, and they landed on this song.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to this.
Every one of my siblings started singing the song in unison, right after one another. My parents joined in, and within 30 seconds, you had a car full of diverse musical tastes. And my dad, a rocker, my mom, Barbra Streisand and Donny Osmond lover, my sisters, a couple of pop princesses, and me and my brother, who were a couple of glam metal headbangers. We were singing every word with every force that we had within ourselves. It's the power in this song.
More than ever. And if you only hold me tight.
Would it have been a hit if Meatloaf had sung it? Maybe a minor hit. But all due respect to Meat, Bonnie Tyler owned this song for note one. She took a 7-minute song about vampires and made it everyone's song. Thanks, Bonnie.
Nothing I can do, a total eclipse of the heart.